Hi all, a very good afternoon. So I'm Revati. I'm a products expert from the Zoho Calendar team. So I'll be taking you through the webinar today. So the general aim of the webinar is to introduce the recent developments we have in Zoho Calendar, and being a Zoho Calendar user, how you can easily schedule your events to save more time. So for the presenters of today's session, Shiva will be joining in with me. So he's a senior technical support engineer. So he'll be answering all your queries in the Q&A section live. So let's begin. So the agenda for today's section. So I'll start off with the most common use case of a calendar in a workspace. So we all have different kinds of meetings throughout the day. We meet different people. We go on with different kinds of discussions. Like we have internal team meetings. We have meetings with other departments such as marketing, HR, finance, or accounts. We schedule events with our clients outside our organization to discuss about our projects, or sometimes we even block off some time for ourselves in the calendar. So the list just goes on. But most of the events we deal with every day involves multiple people with their own priorities for the day. So scheduling an event which suits them all involves a lot of to and fro in your emails or text, which consumes a lot of time and energy, which in turn affects your productivity. So here in this webinar, first we'll discuss about some of the major hurdles we all face while creating events with the larger groups. And I'm eager to show you how Zoho Calendar can help solve those things. Next, we'll cover how important it is to have your email and calendar integrated, and how it can save a lot of time in your day-to-day activities. Then we'll also touch up the calendar on the go, that is Zoho Calendar mobile application, and we'll end the session with the Q&A. So first, let's begin with the issues in scheduling a larger meeting. So I have compiled here a list of the common issues we all face while scheduling a meeting for the larger group. So I have also enabled a poll here. You can choose if you have faced any of these issues already, or like if you have anything that is not mentioned there, you can mention those in the Q&A box also, and we'll discuss all these things one by one. So the first thing on the list is multiple time zone. So when we are dealing with people working in different time zones, or like you may even be traveling across countries for your business purposes, or your clients will be located in different time zones. So whenever you want to schedule an event, this becomes a major concern. Sometimes we just calculate the time zones in our mind, or sometimes we end up booking the meeting in the midnight for clients. So to avoid those kinds of issues, you have to set up a you have to check in different time zones. That is a major hurdle we all face whenever we begin to schedule the event. So the next one is the purpose of the event. What is the actual purpose of your event? Is it a personal event, or it is like a business event? If it is a business event, whether it is like a monthly meeting you're having within your team, or is it your client meetings, how are you going to differentiate all those things in a calendar? So when you look at your calendar grid, so you need to know which events should be prioritized more. How do you differentiate these events? So there is a lot of chaos that is happening whenever all these schedules got mixed up. So the next is the availability of attendees. So you have already started to create an event, and you have a list of attendees to invite to the event. What about their availabilities? There is a lot of to and fro emails, text, and calls we'll be making to check up on the availability of each of their each of the attendees. And most of the times those things doesn't match. So more than the event actual event time, the time taken to check the availability of attendees will be more. The next one is a finding a venue. If it is a physical event like a small meetings, quick catch up between your team, many a times we have seen people roaming around with their laptops and notebooks, finding for a location to have a meeting. So next is a online meeting. Even it is in hybrid work, people are working from their home. Finding a good conferencing options to schedule an event becomes a nightmare these days. And so now the event is all created. So we tend to miss out events. So if you have a goldfish brain like mine, we just forgot that event exists. I may get a reminder from some, for say 15 minutes before the event. In between those 15 minutes, I get so engrossed in the work, I just totally forgot about the event at all. So I ended up missing those events. Then is the event invite delivery. So you have created an event and you have sent out email invites to the attendees. How do you, as an organizer, make sure those invites got delivered? There are a lot of cases where your event invite might get into spam or it got bounced. There may be some network issue and the attendees did not get the event invite at all. So how do you expect them to show up on your meetings? So now everything is set. Tomorrow is your meeting and you have sudden emergency, maybe a personal emergency or a business emergency, and you won't be able to attend the event, but you actually wanted to attend the event. So how do you alter the time of the event? So you just again have to make a call or an email to the organizer and wait for them to reply back to get on a convenient time to schedule your event. Then is a confirmation. So when dealing with events with larger participants, say for example 30-40 people are going to attend your meeting, as an organizer you may want to arrange some logistics. So how do you arrange those logistics without knowing the exact number? You may have invited 30 people, but actually only 20 people turns out, so a lot of resources gets waste. So in those cases, we need to have an accurate number of the participants that are going to attend. There is a multiple calendar platform. This is an issue, the huge issue in itself. So you use different kind of calendar platforms. Say you use Google Calendar for your personal use, or you may use Zoho Calendar for your business use, and some of your clients may even use Outlook Calendar. So whenever you schedule an event, you need to check all your event schedules in all the platforms and then schedule the event. So all these things makes event scheduling a very complicated process and a very time consuming process. So I'm happy to introduce some of the recent features and some of the long term features we have in Zoho Calendar, which helps sort out all these things. We'll go one by one. So the first one is a multiple time zone. So for people working in different time zones and people want to create an event in different time zones, you can set up a secondary time zone. So in addition to the primary time zone, which you have already said, you can enable secondary time zone in your calendar. So I'll show you a demo of how it can be done. So I have a sample calendar account already opened. So you just have to go to settings and click on time zone. So you can see there is an option to enable secondary time zone. So once you have enabled, you can choose whichever time zone that you require. So once it is done, you just have to go to the grid and you can find both the time zones equally updated in your grid. So whenever you create an event, you can check for both the time zone in the same place without having to calculate all these things in your mind. So the next one is the purpose of the event. Based on the purpose of the event scheduling can be differentiated so that in your calendar grid, all your events can be neatly organized and you can prioritize the events based on your requirements. The first option would be add a different calendar. Maybe if you want to schedule a personal event to your calendar, so instead of just adding it to your same default calendar, you can create a new calendar, namely maybe like my family or something, and create all your personal events in your personal calendar. Similarly, if you want to have different calendars for different departments in your organization, say for your own team and for the other teams, you can have different calendars. Similar to that, you can also create group calendars also. For example, if your internal team will be having events every Monday or every weekly meetings or monthly meetings, so instead of adding attendees to the meeting every time you schedule, so you can just create a group calendar. So whenever you want to create an event within your team, you just have to add the event in your group calendar so that all the members who are part of your group will get an invitation and this event will be added in all of their calendars. Let me show you how. So here in the my calendar section, you just have to click on the plus icon and select add calendar. So once you have selected add calendar, you can just give a name for your calendar, and if you want to include this in your free busy sharing, you just can include it. Let me give a name. Let's say I'm creating a calendar for my marketing purposes and click on save. So when you create a new calendar, you can also set up a specific reminder for those calendar, so that whenever you create an event, all the events that are part of this calendar will get this same reminder. Similarly, you can also create a group calendar specifically for the group and add all the members who are part of your team to this group. So whenever you create an event in the group calendar, all the members will get an email invite and this event will be added in the group. So the next one is the availability of attendees. This is one of the major problem most of us face while scheduling the event. So this can be solved with the help of manage availability and free busy lookup. So I'll show you a demo for the same. It would be better with the demo. So let's say I'm creating a new event for this webinar. I'm giving a title and I'm choosing a random time here, and I'm inviting people to I'm adding attendees to the event. Let's add some few more people to understand the feature better. Okay, so I have added 3 attendees to the event. So now it's just 3 attendees. It might be a simpler case, but when you want to add some 10 or 20 people to the event and you want to check the availability of everybody, it becomes a nightmare. So there are 2 options from where you can check the availability of your attendees. One is the participants availability section. So in this section, it shows you the next 5 best possible time slot where most or majority of your attendees are available. Here you can see it is suggesting me a time where 2 out of 4 people are available, but I could not get a time in the immediate future to have all of these attendees available. So what I can do is you just have to click manage free busy. So once I do this, I can clearly view the entire schedule of all the attendees. So I can see here that 2 of my attendee schedules are completely blocked. So in that case, what I can do is I can just change the event date or the event time to see whoever is available for that particular time. So based on this, I can choose a time which suits for almost all or majority of the participants and schedule the event. So the next one would be finding a place. So how we can solve this is through the resource booking. Resource booking is a feature which is available for all the customers who are having a Zoho Mail paid plans. So all the paid plans, including light, premium, and everything, resource booking as a feature is available. So if the resource booking is enabled for you, your organization admin can add all the available resources in your organization, say different meeting rooms, or if you have sports arena, or any kind of resources, you have some projector screenings that might be available. So the admin can add all the types of resources that is available in your organization in the admin portal. So once that is added, so whenever you create an event, you just have to click add room option in the event creation form. So this will show you the list of all the available rooms in your organization without having to go there physically and check if the meeting room is available at the particular time. You can just sit in your table and book the meeting rooms and just have the meeting as a breeze. So the next one would be virtual meetings. With the hybrid works in place, even if we have a physical meeting, some of the people, some of your teammates or the clients, whoever it may be, they might want to join them virtually, or even having a physical meeting, you may want to record your meeting so that it can be used for the future purposes. So in those cases, Zoho Calendar comes with Zoho Meeting integration. With the Zoho Meeting, you can schedule both the audio and the video meeting options. So this comes automatically integrated. You don't have to configure anything for the Zoho Meeting integration. So for the other conferencing options, so sometimes some of the organizations prefer to have other conferencing applications such as Zoom or the Teams or the Google Meets. So you can also configure those meeting applications in your Zoho calendar and schedule an event in those applications directly from Zoho calendar. So I'm happy to inform here that the MS Teams integration is in the end, and we are opening the integration for beta trials. So if you want to be included in the beta trial for MS Teams integration, you can just mention in the Q&A box, or you can even write to us at the support at zohocalendar.com. We'll be happy to share you, and we'll come up with the announcement for public release very soon. So meanwhile, I'll just show you a demo of how these integrations work. So for these integrations, you just have to go to settings and click on integration. You can see I've already enabled both Zoom and MS Teams in my calendar. Let me show you how you can configure from the beginning. I'll just delete this configurations. As you can see, so when you are configuring for the first time, this is how it looks. Both the Zoom in meeting and the MS Team, the configuration steps are very much similar. You just have to click on configure and select authenticate. So once you select, you have to give up the credentials of the concerned Microsoft account or the Zoom account in those cases, and just that's it, it's done. So this is enabled. So now how you can create an conferencing in MS Teams. So whenever you create an event, you have to choose MS Teams from the list of conferencing option. So here I have enabled both Zoom and Teams, so both of them are visible. I can choose whichever I want to create. So once you have created the event, the concerned conferencing meeting link will be added along with the email invite we sent out to the invitees, and you can also find the meeting link in the view event tab. So the next one would be missing out events. So now we have created the events and sent out the uh, created the event, and there is a high possibility many of us might miss out these email invites. We just filter those event invites into a separate folder, or we may suddenly just forget to check our emails itself. In those cases, these event notification and reminders comes in handy. For every event you create, there are three different options to create a notification. One is the pop-up, one the notification, and the email. You can set up any time interval which you find yourself comfortable with. For example, in for this webinar, you might have got a reminder 5 minutes before the webinar and also a day before the webinar. So based on your convenience, you can set up a notification. These event notification and reminders can be set up at both levels. In the calendar levels, whenever you create a new calendar, you can excuse me, so you can set up a reminder notification for the entire calendar. So any event that is part of that calendar will be notified with the intervals you have mentioned there. Also, if you don't want to bombard your default calendar notification, you can create a separate notification for any events you create, and for that particular event, that reminders will be applicable. So the next case is the email invite delivery. So you have created the event and we have sent out the invites. So how do you make sure all these email invites got delivered? So whenever you create an event, after the event creation, you can just click on the view event tabs. Next to the list of attendees, you can see all invites delivered. So if you get a notification like all invites deliver, that means all the email invites has been delivered to all the recipient. There are cases where some of these invites might not get delivered. It may be because of a network issue or a bounce issue. In those cases, you can see the feature as some invites not delivered. So you will also find a reason for the not delivery. So you can check the reasons for not delivering the email invite, and you can try out sending it again. So next one is the alter event time. So this feature has personally helped me a lot. So whenever somebody has invited me to an event and I really want to be part of the event, for some apparent reason, I have another priority that comes up. So instead of going to the organizer and requesting them to change the event time and check the feasibility of everybody, I can just propose a new time to the event. So when I get the email invite, whenever you get the email invite, you have an option called propose a new time. So once you click on the propose a new time, you can see you can set up a start time and end time for the event. So you can select the time which you feel comfortable, and you can also check on the availability of other attendees also. So you can check the availability of all the attendees and select a preferred time for everybody and propose it to the organizer. You can also mention a reason why we want to alter the event time. So if the organizer feels convinced, he or she can accept the proposal and the event time gets altered altogether. So next is the attendee confirmation. So everybody is comfortable with the time and the event has been created. How you as an attendee will respond to the event invite, or how the organizer of the event will get to know how many attendees will be participating in the event. So in the add to response section in the calendar grid, so I'll show you in the UI also. In the calendar grid, you will have an option called It to Respond. So when you click on It to Respond, it will show the list of all the events you have not yet responded to. So if you know for sure that you will attend the event, you can just select yes, or in case you can't attend the event, you can just select no, or if you're confused, you can even choose a maybe. In with the help of these, the organizer of the event will make sure all the logistics are planned properly. So next is the all your platforms in one place. So we have multiple platforms. We use multiple calendar platforms for day-to-day purposes. Like I already mentioned, we may use different platforms such as Google, Outlook, Zoho, or other applications such as Calendly for different purposes. So whenever somebody wants to create an event, or whenever you want to schedule an event, it is very difficult to check for all the calendar before you schedule an event. So with Zoho Calendar, you can keep all your calendars in one place, fully synced in the fully synced, from where you can add, edit, or even delete an event from one single place without having to switch tabs. So like I mentioned, we have Google, Outlook, and Calendly integrations. So I'll show you a demo of how all these things work. So in the settings, if you click on the synchronize option, you will find a list of all the synchronizations which is available. Let's say Google Calendar. So Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar configuration is a very simple process. Here I have already authenticated, so I'll just remove it. This is how the screen looks when you configure the synchronization for the first time. You just have to click on I agree and then authenticate your Google account. You have to enter your Google credentials and click on continue. I am allowing Zoho to authenticate. So now your Google Calendar account is authenticated. So now you just have to click on synchronize. So once you click synchronize, all the events that are part of your Google Calendar will be synced with Zoho Calendar, and you can see all these events in one single place. And similarly, whenever you create an event, you can create the same event in Google Calendar directly from Zoho Calendar. You just have to choose the particular calendar you want this event to be part of. Here you can see I just added my Gmail calendar, which is listed under App Calendar. So if I select my Google Calendar, this particular event will be part of my Google Calendar, which will be visible in both Zoho Calendar and Google Calendar. In this way, I'll make sure all my events stays in one place and I don't have to toggle between multiple tabs. And then is the CalDAV sync for native devices. Similar to the synchronizations we do for multiple platforms, you can also sync your Zoho calendar with any device's native calendar using the CalDAV protocol. In the settings, select the calendar which you want to sync using the calendar protocol and add this Zoho calendar account in your native device as a calendar account. So once you have added, the calendars which you have selected here will be part of your native device calendars. We'll move on to the next part of the presentation, which is Zoho Mail and Zoho Calendar integration. So in today's world, I can't stress upon the importance of effective communication. Effective communication has become a key for many successful businesses. And today, where every minute counts, keeping your calendar and email integrated can be a game changer. By this integration, I mean keeping all your events and schedules in one single place. That means all meetings and events, everything up to date and accessible in one place without having to toggle between different applications. So this is what we aim in Zoho Mail and Zoho Calendar integration. So Zoho Calendar is part of Zoho Mail suite applications, and Calendar is also available as an e-widget. So let me show you how this works. So I have a mail screen opened here. You can see. So this is how your Zoho Mail UI looks like, and you can see your calendar is part of your mail suite. So you can see your all your events or like whichever you events you are part of and everything directly from the Zoho Mail interface. You don't have to switch tabs. So all the features that are part of a separate calendar will be part of your mail suite applications also. So even when you're working in your mail, you can also see a e-widget available in the right side where you can have a quick sneak peek of your agenda, or when you want to create a quick event, you can directly add those from the e-widget options. So the major integrations that is between Zoho Mail and Zoho Calendar is the contextual integration. What is mean by contextual integration? So when you're working in your mail, so you want to create an event. So how do you do that? There are 5 different ways. The first one is the agenda emails. So most of us are used to checking emails the first thing in the morning. We are not that used to checking our calendar. For people like me who is like very fond of checking my emails and not my calendars, I would prefer to have my all my events scheduled for the day to be sent as a mail. For example, if you can, I'll show you. So this is an email I got today morning. The agenda. So when you have enabled agenda emails in your calendar, every morning before you log in, you will get an email with the entire agenda for the day. So when you have a look at the entire events I have planned for the day, I get to have a clear view of how my day is going to look like. If I want to cancel out on some events because of other priorities, I can choose to do so the first thing in the morning. In that way, I have my entire day visible in my eyes. So how do you enable these agenda emails? So you have to go to your calendar settings and select notifications. In the notifications, you have agenda notification option. You have to enable send agenda notifications by email. You can also choose the frequency of the agenda notification as either daily or weekly. If you choose daily, you get to receive your agenda notifications every day in the morning. The second important feature in the contextual integration aspect is, let's say like you're having a long discussion with somebody in an email. So you want to decide something for the event that is happening in your organization, or like it's a client project discussions. So there are like so many emails going to and fro, and you just can't find a solution to that. So sometimes the face-to-face meeting can't be beat by the emails, right? So in that case, you may want to schedule an event once for all and to settle upon those things. So how do you create an event? So you're just mailing here, and then you have to go to calendar and then create an event. So to make this process a simpler one, let me take an example here of any threads that's been going on. So let's say the designs for marketing thread has been going on here. So instead of going to the calendar to schedule an event, there are two ways from how I can schedule an event. So I can just choose a particular word like let's say marketing campaign, and just click on the add to calendar option. When you hover over this selected text, you will get the add to calendar option. So once I click that, the marketing campaign event gets created, and if I want to invite any attendees to the event, whoever I want to invite, I just add the attendees and click on save directly from the email. The second option to create an event, which makes it even more simpler, is the add conversations. So just click on the drop down here and select add to and calendar. So in this way, the subject of the email conversation that is going on will be added as a title, and all the people who are part of this email conversation, say whoever is in the to and the CC, these people will get added as an attendees, and I just have to choose a day and click on save directly from the Zoho Mail interface without even closing my email. So we have covered agenda emails, creating events from Zoho Mail, and events from email in calendar. So whenever you receive an event invite in your calendar, like somebody has invited you to a meeting and you have received an email invite, so you will get a email invite. So you need to click on add to calendar to add those events to your calendar. So instead of adding these kinds of events every time you receive an email invite, you can just set up a permissions in your Zoho calendar to automatically add all these event invites. So whenever you get an event invite, it gets automatically added to your calendar. So you go to settings, event settings, you have an option called event invitation. So when you allow event invitation, all the meeting invites you receive in your emails will get automatically added to your calendar. Similar to the event invitations, you can also add all your reservations, bookings, confirmation. So say you have a dinner reservations, you have a flight reservations, and you got a confirmation mail in your email. These kinds of mail will also be automatically added to your calendar. So when you click on show events automatically created by Zoho Mail, so when you enable this feature, all these reservations get automatically added in your calendar, and you can also choose who can see these details. So you can see it can be a private event. So if it is a private, those reservations will be added to your calendar grid, and if anybody is checking up your calendar, that particular timings will be just blocked as busy instead of showing the entire details. You can also choose it to be only me, so only you can see these events in your calendar grid and nobody else. The next one will be reservations and bookings, which you've already covered, and out of office. So whenever you're working out of office, maybe you're on a vacation or you are on a business trip, we have an we usually enable out of office in your emails. So when somebody sends you an email, they'll get a response that you will be away from your table, away from your work, and we also sometimes give alternative contacts and everything. But what about calendar? So when somebody checks your calendar and sees that your time is just available, and there is a chance they may block your time in your calendar, which you may not even know. If there is no network coverage in wherever you are, we tend to miss out those events. So whenever you create out of office in your Zoho Mail, you can also add those in your calendar. So when it is enabled, all the events, if you have already added any events, will be declined with a note saying you're away from your office, and anybody who wants to check your schedules will also know that you're out of office for the particular mentioned durations. So the next one is the Zoho Calendar on mobile. Zoho Calendar application is available in both iOS and Android. It's a very simple to use mobile applications. There is no configurations required. You just have to log in and start using your calendar. So I'll just show you the how the navigation in the mobile application works. So this is how it looks like in both your iOS and Android devices. So when you open up your calendar, you have this plus icon from where you can create an event. So the create event form looks just like this with all the informations you will fill out in your web. So you just have to mention all these information and click on save. You also can filter out events in different calendars using the filter option, and you can refresh your synchronizations every now and then whenever you require. You can also check up all your notifications, and if you have enabled app notifications, you will get a reminders in your mobile phones also. You don't necessarily need to log into your web calendar every time. You just can use your calendar from wherever you are directly from your mobile devices. So thanks for joining. Hope you all find the webinar very informative. Have a good day.